better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-2 heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines, and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes, as well as boosting their own survival prospects, when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian pipped Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card at last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a one-shot lead coming into the final day, but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under, and in the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Brighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th to post a final round of 6-9 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during a final round of 6-9, pulling 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ruon Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They had advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight season and will play the winner of the series between Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career ejection in Sunday's game for the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. While Spurs coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions, he said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-2 heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines, and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes, as well as boosting their own survival prospects, when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian pipped Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card at last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a one-shot lead coming into the final day, but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under, and in the week tied 4th, 14th and 15th to post a final round of 6-9 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during a final round of 6-9, pulling 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ruon Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They had advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight season and will play the winner of the series between Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career rejection in Sunday's game for the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. Hotspur's coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions. He said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-all heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines, and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes, as well as boosting their own survival prospects, when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian picked Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card at last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a 1-shot lead coming into the final day, but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under, and in the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Wrighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th to post a final round of 6-9 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during a final round of 6-9, pulling her 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ruon Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the 2nd straight season and will play the winner of the series between Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career rejection in Sunday's game for the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. While Spurs coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions, he said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-all heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines, and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes, as well as boosting their own survival prospects, when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian picked Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning his PGA Tour card at last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a 1-shot lead coming into the final day, but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under, and in the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Wrighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th to post a final round of 6-9 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Cal took a two-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during a final round of 69, pulling her 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ruwon Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight season and will play the winner of the series between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career ejection in Sunday's game for the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. While Spurs coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions, he said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-all heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines, and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes, as well as boosting their own survival prospects, when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian picked Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card at last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a 1-shot lead coming into the final day but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under and end the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Wrighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th to post a final round of 6-9 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during a final round of 6-9, pulling her 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ruwon Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight season and will play the winner of the series between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career ejection in Sunday's game for the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. While Spurs coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions, he said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-all heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines, and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes, as well as boosting their own survival prospects, when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian picked Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card at last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a 1-shot lead coming into the final day but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under and in the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Brighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th to post a final round of 69 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during a final round of 69, pulling her 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ruon Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They had advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight season and will play the winner of the series between Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career ejection in Sunday's game for the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. While Spurs coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions, he said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-2 heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes as well as boosting their own survival prospects when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian picked Ricky Fowler and Nikolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card at last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a 1-shot lead coming into the final day but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under and in the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Brighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th to post a final round of 69 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during a final round of 69, pulling her 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ruon Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They had advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight season and will play the winner of the series between Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career ejection in Sunday's game for the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. While Spurs coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions, he said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-2 heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes as well as boosting their own survival prospects when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision, with it believed they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening, with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers, with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian pit Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a 1-shot lead coming into the final day but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under and end the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Brighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th. The post final round was 6-9 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during the final round of 6-9, pulling her 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ron Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York Knicks dominated the Philadelphia 76ers in a 144-114 win that secures a 4-0 series victory and their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the 2nd straight season and will play the winner of the series between Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons, with the Pistons currently leading at 12-1. Over in the West, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama experienced his first career ejection in Sunday's Game 4 of the Western Conference semi-finals after throwing an elbow at the jaw of Minnesota Timberwolves forward Naz Reid early in the second quarter. While Spurs coach Mitch Johnson didn't condone Wembanyama's actions, he said after San Antonio's 114-109 loss that officials could do a better job of protecting the 22-year-old from the physicality routinely imposed on him by opponents. The Wolves' 114-109 win leaves the series tied up at 2-all heading into Game 5 tomorrow evening. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines and I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and West Ham are set to contact referees body the PGMO over their late equaliser being disallowed against Arsenal. The Hammers had appeared to have dealt a significant blow to the Gunners' title hopes as well as boosting their own survival prospects when Callum Wilson struck in stoppage time on Sunday. But after a VAR review, the goal was ruled out for a foul by Pablo on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. West Ham will raise concerns and request further explanation following the controversial decision. We believe they will request the audio between referee Chris Kavanagh and VAR Darren England. There is of course more Premier League action this evening with Tottenham hosting Leeds at 8 o'clock. A victory in their game in hand for Spurs would lift them 4 points clear of the Hammers with just 2 games remaining. Golf now. Christopher Wrighton secured the first PGA Tour victory of his career on Sunday night as the Norwegian pit Ricky Fowler and Nicolai Højgaard to victory at the Truist Championship by 2 shots. Alex Fitzpatrick, who was featuring only his second event since winning the PGA Tour card last month's Zurich Classic in New Orleans, had held a 1-shot lead coming into the final day but struggled to maintain his position at the top of the leaderboard, and a double bogey on the 17th saw him drop back to post a final score of 12 under and end the week tied 4th. Meanwhile, Brighton outlasted a pack of players at Quail Hollow, surging to the lead with birdies on the 14th and 15th. The post final round was 6-9 and finish at 15 under. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, Gino Tikakal cruised to a 4-shot victory on the final day of the Mizuho Americas Open in New Jersey. Tikakal took a 2-shot lead into Sunday amidst 4 birdies with a lone bogey during the final round of 6-9, pulling her 4 shots clear of closest challenger Ron Yin. Finally, to basketball, and the New York
they're going to be in the division next season. Spurs haven't got it sorted out, and surely with that carrot dangling, they're going to be favourites for this game.
Yeah, well, it's a much bigger game, isn't it, for Tottenham Hotspur than it is for Leeds United this evening. Leeds confirming their safety yesterday. It wasn't even them that were playing. West Ham, of course, lost at home to Arsenal, rather dramatic circumstances, but I still think there's still quite a lot of incentives for Leeds to go at this game well and get a good performance. They're still only a little bit behind Sunderland. They might think, you know, we want to finish above the other team that we came up with. They want to finish as high as possible and really cap off what's been a fantastic season for Daniel Farke's team. So it's definitely on Spurs still to win this game. Obviously Leeds might not be going full pellet, but they'll still want to get a great result for those fans travelling down. For Tottenham, they've been given a massive boost as well by that West Ham result. Finally a chance for them to really put some daylight between themselves and the relegation zone. You think if they do get 3 points tonight, that might be it wrapped up as Leeds have a long throw-in.
They do, and it's not been dealt with. The ball might just break out for Leeds to put back in the box. Dan James to far post. It's a decent ball, and they win the first header with Strout, but you can't find a colleague, and well, that comes to nothing. Tottenham haven't been particularly good all season, although they were decent at Elland Road when they won. I seem to remember Xavi Simons having a really good game. Leeds not being able to cope with his pace. But Conor Gallagher sort of playing the number 10 role, a different player altogether, and Leeds should be able to cope with that.
You would hope so. It's a completely different Leeds team, isn't it, to the one that lost to Tottenham Hotspur back at Ellen Road in November. I think it was the start of October, wasn't it, that game? So very different circumstances these two teams find themselves in compared to the last time that they met. Leeds don't have a great record as well recently against Tottenham. Tottenham have won eight of their last 9, I should say, against Leeds. 5 in a row since Leeds beat them 3-1 back in the COVID season. So they've got confidence for that reason. And Leeds, they just look such a solid unit at the moment. Been absolutely brilliant ever since sort of the turn of November, since that Manchester City away game. It's led to them surging up the table and well clear of the relegation zone in the end.
Yeah, they found another string to their bow in formation-wise, and something that works out sometimes following that back three. And where it tends to be the default setting now, but anyway, they can play for. Spurs have been all over the place all season, different formations, but they're unchanged from the team that beat Villa last time, albeit it was a great time to play Aston Villa, who had their eyes cast elsewhere, and of course that all paid off for the Villains, who were on their way to a European final in Istanbul. Anyway, I digress. The ball back to Danso. Bentancur splits the centre backs and goes and picks it up back to the keeper. Antonin Kinski has had his own interesting season. I seem to remember that awful game when he got subbed after, what was it, half an hour? Which was shocking, really. It was a terrible pitch, and I thought he made one mistake, but he seemed to get scapegoated anyway. He lives to fight another day. As Dan James ball down the line, it comes off the back of Calvert-Lewin, but that will do. The ball spread out to left-hand side. Not a great ball on the inside from Justin, and he didn't show any great effort to get it back. But now he's involved as they trying to hound Colin Mawani, and then Leeds do have the ball back. One thing that's been levelled at Spurs all season is they've been a bit rudderless, a bit leaderless. Players who seem to be fair weather players who, when things go wrong, don't really turn up. But I don't know whether that's fair or not.
I think it's fair for the majority of this season. I think since Roberto De Zerbi's come in, though, sort of have a different side to them, Tottenham. It's proven me wrong as well. I thought it might be the wrong appointment. De Zerbi's never had a track record of coming in quickly and then changing results around in a relegation battle. So I did sort of question the appointment for that reason. But fair play. It's clearly got them playing again. Clearly want it. You can see from the reactions and the passion that they're showing in these games. The celebrations against Wolves and Aston Villa in particular showed they do have something more about them. However, you do think if Leeds do have a good start here and they get the first goal of the game, then the heads could start to drop. They've been awful at home this season, Tottenham Hotspur. No one's picked up fewer points than them at their own stadium. Just 11 for the entire campaign. They've been absolutely atrocious, and they don't like playing here. They don't like playing in front of their own fans. Those wins that they've had recently against Wolves and Villa, both coming away, so it's a different sort of challenge for them this evening.
Yeah, how do you untoxify a stadium? And I tell you what, it's a brilliant stadium. And when there's 62,000 in there screaming against their own players, getting upset, then it's not good, is it? But they demand better than what they've had. But anyway, yeah, it's been a bit of a disaster this season. As Mataz Tell fighting for the ball, showing all the fight that is required tonight. They've made a sort of steady start, really. Udogie on the ball. He finds Paulinho. He can go back to Danso. He drives forward. He blammed the ball out to the flank, but inadvertently hit Conor Gallagher, who he wasn't looking for him. Now Van den Ven on the ball, and a really scratchy stuff from Spurs here. Anyone would think there was something at stake here. They look really nervous, don't they?
They do, and maybe it's just that home atmosphere that's sort of putting them off. I mean, they made a massive meal out of it, didn't they, Tottenham, before the game? We saw the tifo in the stands just before, so it's clearly a massive occasion. The players have just got to try and steady themselves. They've been fairly steady so far. Leeds have had the only real sort of half chance of the game. Tottenham are starting to get a bit more possession now, and looking to break Leeds down.
Yep, and they do. So little give and go, and the ball out to right hand side. Colin Mawani cuts inside to Justin, forced back. The cross comes in from Porro, easily dealt with at the near post. Calvert-Lewin, well, the ball pings off him, but he has no control of it. And it breaks to Colin Mawani. Then Aronson has done well. He's got plenty of energy. And then the ball given away. Spurs looking quite lively now. Sometimes it's easier just to work off that nervous energy chasing the ball. So now Rodon put under pressure from Tell. Rodon did well, flicked the ball off the young Frenchman who he was bought at the end of the season. I wasn't sure about the purchase. I thought he'd not really bedded in last term when he was on loan. I thought, oh, they're not going to take him, and then they did,
Yeah, he's not exactly set the world alight, has he, since arriving from Bayern Munich. Funnily enough, he's the only Tottenham player who's actually appeared in every matchday squad this season. He's just not really sort of had those star moments. It's been a poor season for all those players. A bit of a worry now for Leeds as well. They've already got a few injury problems. Jadon Bogle's had to miss out through injury. Now James Justin just down on the deck at the moment. It's something to do with his face. Didn't really see what happened to him, but first real stoppage of the match.
Yeah, we were talking about him before kick-off, James Justin. At the start of the season, he'd been linked here and there, and I thought, I've never really fancied him that much. And I watched him for Leicester, and he bossed it, and I thought, yeah, I understand it, I get it now. I'd never really got it. And then Leeds got him for something like 9 million. Now, that's not an awful lot of money, but this kid covers right back, right centre back, and then left back, left wing back, and he does all those things pretty well. And it dawned on me that he's probably the best value for money player that probably ever been bought in Premier League history. I'm sure there are some more, but you know what I mean. He got one in the mush then, didn't he, from Colin Mawani?
Yeah, there wasn't any malice in it, was there, from Colin Mawani? He was just trying to get around him in the end. He's back up to his feet now. It should be okay to continue, but I mean, you're right with the signing of James Justin. Maybe not one of the flashiest signings at the start of the summer. I think everyone paid more attention to the Calvert-Lewin, the Stack signing, the Beal signing as well. But James Justin sort of flew under the radar. He's played so many different positions for Leeds, and just one of those players that he always gives you at least a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Never has a bad game. It's been a real good buy from Leeds.
Yeah, absolutely. You could do with a few more of them. When you think about the money that's spent, though, billions for Chelsea and same thing for Liverpool and all that, and how it all works out. Would you rather spend 9 million for somebody who can cover 3 places really well, or 100 million for a striker who, has not lifted a leg? An easy answer, isn't it? Anyway, that's for another day, I suppose. Benton Kerr on the ball, dabs it out of his feet. Porro has not really got too far ahead of play. He's just over the halfway line at the moment. He loves to scamper forward, and it's a good ball too. Richarlison, that's really good defending though. I wondered if he was offside, but Rodon gets back anyway and makes sure that he shepherds the ball back to the keeper. Was he on? Was he off? I think Justin, or is it Strauch, playing him on right there.
Yeah, he's definitely onside there as Richarlison. It's a really well-timed run from the Brazilian. You can see Strauch over on the far side is the man playing him on. It's good recovery though from Joe Rodon. He's got the pace to get back. He sort of gets in there because of a heavy touch from Richarlison. Darlow a little bit risky playing out from the back there with Leeds, but just a little bit of a warning for Leeds. Tottenham have established themselves quite well now in the game. We're about 10 minutes of the way through and not really any big chances to speak of just yet, but Tottenham just trying to settle the nerves.
Yeah, I was watching Pointless the other day, and Richarlison was a pointless answer, and it was about players who've scored 2 goals in a over 2 goals in a World Cup, and it's like, and you forget about all that, you've got all your Rafinhas and this, that, and the other, and they've always got great players, and you sort of forget, and he's one of them, he's sometimes difficult to like. He's no stranger to dark arts, is he? But remains a really good player, and he's so focused, isn't he? He's on it all the time. Understand why Zerbi goes with him. Anyway, shepherded away there by Rodon. I've not really written anything down on my piece of paper just yet, which tells you either I've got dead lazy or the game's not. It's a bit scrappy here just yet. Oh, there. I tell you what, Kinski really took his time clearing the ball, and he very nearly got caught there. Calvert-Lewin's nearly blocking that back into his own goal.
Yeah, it's an underrated part of his game, isn't it, Dominic Calvert-Lewin? The way that he presses from the front. Obviously, we know about his link-up play, his aerial ability as well, and how good that's been this season for Leeds. But he really does work hard up front, and Kinski gets away with one. He does take his time with it. Eventually, it is clear of Calvert-Lewin, who can't quite get a touch, but you already see the press from Leeds, how intense they're going to be. Even with nothing left to play for this season, they're still going to work very hard and make Tottenham work for it.
Yep, Paulinho looking for a little give and go. Colomwani back to Bentancur, out of his feet, over the halfway line. And the ball then to Gallagher. That's a terrible ball from him. You can see what he's trying to do, but with his right foot, he was always curling the wrong way. He's trying to get involved, Conor Gallagher. I don't know what he's doing. The referee's going to have a word with Roberto De Zerbi because he keeps going out of his technical area. And the fourth official had already had a word with him about that. And patted him and said, you know the rules. Yeah. And so do I. Jared Gillette's come on and had a word with him again, but he can't help himself, can he?
No, I imagine that won't be the last time that Roberto De Zerbi gets a talking to from the officials in this game. He's a manager that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's like the Mikel Arteta's, the Pep Guardiola's, isn't he? That's trying to just sort of get any advantage he can, make sure that his players are with him from the start. So no surprise to see him already getting a talking to in a game that means so much as well, so much at stake for Tottenham Hotspur. And just overstepping the mark a little bit. Yeah, just a bit.
Anyway, Dan James on the ball, but thumped away from him by Udogie. And the ball goes out, will be a throw. Leeds don't seem to be in any hurry to take it. We're just trying to keep quiet the Spurs fans who try to get behind their team. Don't forget, and like Josh said, they've seen it all before, and this season they've seen next to nothing. So I don't know whether they're ready to cheer their team along or ready to get on their backs, but I suspect another defeat here, and the ball given away just in the cart to find his way around Pedro Porro. And then he's robbed in the middle of the park, ball won by Ampadu, and then Tanaka held up by Paulinho. He did really well there, and then Tanaka's got to fight, but Conor Gallagher runs away with the ball. Justin chases after him, he can't get there, and it's a long cross comes in to find Mateus Tell. Good first touch, and he's held up by Rodon. Can he take him on? Takes him to the byline, almost. Forced it back to Udogie, and now Paulinho just the edge of the box. Can they get something going? Pedro Porro now. Randall Colomwani appeals away, but Strike read that like a book, and he should be able to clear his lines. He plays it down the flank. He plays it straight to Pedro Porro, and then Aronson has to intervene. He flicks the ball away. It's a chance for a long throw now. A bit of fight then being shown by Tottenham, but they still look very nervy. But like I said, I think you can run off the nerves a little bit. Now they've got a long throw.
Yeah, they certainly do, and it's not probably the quick start that the fans might have been expecting and wanting from their team in this game. It's been more controlled and sort of steady from Tottenham Hotspur rather than coming out the traps. They're starting to get a bit more dominance though. Leeds just giving it away in the middle, and there's a throw in now from Colomwani. Yep,
and Aronson makes sure that they can't go very far. They have a different angle. The ball comes in, headed into the box by Richarlison, and then rather spanner of a header goes out for a corner kick. Not what Ethan Ampadu was after. There's a corner. Leeds are a big team today, and it's up then to Tottenham. See what they can do. Richarlison always brilliant in the air. Danso, Van den Veen, Paulinho, all big targets to aim at. Leeds have probably got one or two more big guys than Spurs have today, though.
Yeah, they do. They are good from set pieces, Leeds. So are Tottenham. 16 goals from corners this season. It's a really impressive tally, actually. Only one behind Arsenal as well. So they are effective in these situations. Leeds will be confident, though. It's got to be a good delivery, though, from Tell.
Yeah, Romero might be have been involved in those stats, I think, as Tell goes to the far post really deep, and the ball comes off the back. I thought of Ampadu. It's another corner kick. He's saying it should be a goal kick. I didn't think so. I thought it came off his back. But anyway, another opportunity. It wasn't a good ball particularly, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the sort of whip that you need on it. In the end, I think the reaction from Carl Darlow probably tells you enough that it was a corner. He rushes to try and keep it in play, but he can't quite do so. Ends up going out for another corner. It's on that far side this time. Again, a bit of jostling going on the edge of the area. It's going to be this time. It's going to be Tell to take it again.
Yeah, thinking about taking one short. So Porro goes just have a word with the corner kick taker, Tell, who it's not going to go short. This one is going to go long. Eyes peeled then. If you can spot one of the 22 fouls that's going to go on before the keeper gets fouled in there, you're a better man than me. Anyway, here we go. Ball comes in. It doesn't beat the first man. Dan James can head that one away. Poro a chance to recycle the ball. It's a better ball in. A good header away by Joe Rodon. And then the ball be cleared down the line by Sk. Keeps the ball in. But he can't keep hold of the ball. It's back with Danso and then Gallagher. And there's still not exactly a loaded box. They've sort of just started drifting away from that idea. Udogie on the ball, as Spurs don't know whether to go with centre-backs up top or not. Still, there's still a couple in the pocket. Danso now. Van der Veen decides he's been waiting too long and he's got to go back into position. The ball's not coming. So, and that makes Sound go all the way back to the goalkeeper. So, 17 minutes in, we are goalless and pretty much chanceless as well. We'll take a quick look at the stats. But anyway, there's not a lot happening as Poro heads the ball straight out. Right, virtually 70% possession, Tottenham, more or less. XG, none, because they haven't had a shot. For Leeds, one effort, I can't remember, it generated 0.03 in XG. So that, it tells you about a nervous start, about plenty of work for both the two teams. But a lack of cohesion from both of them. Leeds try to make ground down left-hand side, and then the challenge comes in, and it's a foul from Danso, bringing Aronson down because he just got a little bit unlucky there. But it was still a foul.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was good work from Leeds, actually, in those sort of tight positions. So many players are in the way of it there, and Aronson, you think, has just broken out for Leeds, but Danso slides in desperately. It's not the attack. He's not going to pick up a booking for it, but this is an opportunity now for Leeds down the other end. Tottenham had a few set pieces, not really done anything of that with them. Leeds, we know can be how good they can be. Sk over it as well. Not quite shooting position for Anton Sk. Seeing how good he can be with them, but he's going to deliver it instead.
Yeah, and he sends a raking ball through the box. A good delivery. Danso gets their first ball into the area, taken away by Dan James, who thinks, can he get to the byline? The attempted cross is easily blocked away, and they should, through Tell, be able to run it clear. He forced back though, and in the end, the ball goes across. That's really poor defending from Tell. But now Randall Colomalani's on the run, and he's got a chance to run it to Beale here. Leeds try to get back. Colomalani's done a decent job, did he? But he just turned the ball away from himself, and out went out. But we're looking at Tell. And he really created a big problem for his own team there.
What on earth is he doing here, Matthias Tell? There's just no need to be playing it like that. He's really lucky that Danso just heads this one clear of James Justin, who's arriving inside the box. But there's two players pressing Tell right towards the byline, and he tries to chip it across his own box. I can't get my head around that from the Frenchman. It's so risky. And again, it just shows there are a lot of nerves in that Tottenham stadium right now. It's not the quick start that we might have expected for them. Leeds are looking comfortable in defence, but are still posing a problem or two going forward. Tottenham can just do without moments like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it wasn't in any coaching manual, but neither was that from Leeds. Dahl was giving the ball away to Bentancur at the edge of the box. Oh, and then there's a poor ball from him, and now Ampadu on the run out, and he beats two there. He's got opportunities, three ahead of him here. Not making particularly good runs, but one through the middle from Aronson, gets it out of his feet, and then the ball just booted away. Anywhere will do. I think Udogie's done a great job there covering across. A catalogue of disasters really for both the two teams in lots of respects. But then when Ethan Ampadu cut past, I think Polinia, it all opened up. I don't think the runners are making good enough targets for him, but he's still nearly breakthrough in it, and it's going to be a corner.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely sensational though, isn't it, from Ethan Ampadu. He carries that ball pretty much on the edge of his own box, right up towards the other one on the Tottenham half. It's brilliant from the Leeds captain, and sensational this season. In the end, Justin can't quite sort his feet out, but Leeds have gone short with this corner.
They do, and then Aronson floats the ball to far post, and it's Rodon with a header, but only just kept out. Oh, Kinski there. He got down, and I thought for a second the ball had got through his fingers, close, but not quite a goal for Leeds.
Yeah, I thought it was over the line there for a moment. Joe Rodon does everything right. It's a fantastic save, to be fair to Kinski. Rodon does everything he can with that header. He heads it down into the corner. Break off though, Tottenham now up the other end.
Richarlison into the box he goes, but then forced away, and then terrible. Well, what was that? Well, the flag had got up. Richarlison offside. So we needn't to bother too much. They're still yet to register a proper shot. But Leeds with Rodon peeled away beautifully, and Kinski there stopped the ball on the line. It's a great save that under massive pressure.
Yeah, one of the best saves I think you'll see all season. I mean, the way that he reacts to it and just about keeps it off the line. It's almost in, and Joe Rodon thinks he scored for a short moment. But yeah, what a save that is from Kinski. I mean, I thought his Tottenham career might have been done after that Atletico Madrid game. I mean, you see goalkeepers have those sort of performances and you think, how on earth are they ever going to come back from that one? But he has reacted well, to be fair to him. He's made a big save in this game as well. By far the biggest chance and moment so far. Tottenham just living dangerously. It's starting to gain in confidence as well. Looking like they might be taking the lead.
Absolutely, and so yeah, he's won his battle with Vicario, hasn't he? He wasn't really fancied by the fans. He was on a wing and a prayer. But like you said, what happened against Atletico on that terrible pitch that was coming up in clumps, I really felt for him that night. So I did the game. I just thought there's no way it was his fault, and I did it with Josh. So we were talking about it, weren't we? And then the reports the next day really didn't do him any favours. He absolutely got slated, and it wasn't right. Anyway, that's for another one. And now Kinski on the ball. Again, I tried to give him the big build-up there, but he fluffed his lines, and here come the Leeds through the middle. A chance for Sk. Ball gets caught in his feet, though, and eventually it's taken away from him. So it wasn't a foul. Sk's gone down very heavily there. I don't know, he injured himself. Tell is on the ball. This game's swinging end to end right now, but Spurs yet to get a shot on target. Can they? With Tell, wait for something to happen. He's got players on his inside. He's forced to go backwards, but the ball breaks. There wasn't enough movement for him. Sk he's having a moan there. Did he really get caught here by perhaps Conor Gallagher? He did. He was fouled at the edge of the area. Wasn't given.
Gallagher just tackles him from behind and doesn't even get the ball. He just sort of knocks his leg out of place. Can see why Sk is quite frustrated about that one as well. Just couldn't quite sort his feet out and get the shot off that he would have liked. He's really good from outside the box as well, as we've seen this season. He's got a great goal against Burnley in their last game at Ellen Road last week. So he's got that sort of ability. Tottenham can't afford to let him do that. I think they've got away with one as well.
Yeah, well, it was Gerard Gillette, our referee, who didn't spot that. It's Kevin Danson now with a long throw, comes in. Dowell gives the punch. It's not a great punch. And the ball now with Richarlison, bicycle kick, but well, he's no Dyson Maeda. I don't know if you've seen his goal for Celtic this weekend, but it's an absolute doozy. A real reminder of times gone by, times of yore with Henrik Larsson. He was that sort of quality. Anyway, we're halfway through the first half, listening to independent off-tube studio commentary, and it's going to be Josh now to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. We just see Jacobiol surging downfield. Brilliant header from Calvert-Lewin behind under pressure from Danso. However, Harrison can't quite get there. Leeds will win the second header back up in the air through Road, and it's down on the floor now. Can Tanaka poke it through for a Leeds player? Can't quite find Sk in the end. It's a bit too heavy. It's gone out for a throw-in. Just starting to see Leeds start to sort of kick into life, though. Getting a slow start by their standards, but they've started to come into it now. They've had the biggest chance of the game by a mile as well.
Yeah, they have, and I'm distinctly unimpressed by Spurs so far. They look like a bunch of strangers, don't they? Evidenced in their stats, no shots, and yet 25 minutes in, they would have wanted to start brightly. They would have talked about all that. I think maybe that the victory at Villa last time was a really good time to play them. Flattered to deceive, and lots of managers do that unchanged after a victory. But it's like, what did they beat? You actually look at that Villa team. It wasn't all the second string, but there's lots of players who don't normally play, like Barkley and all that kind of stuff, Anyway, maybe it's Mr. Tricky, De Zerbi.
Yeah, remains to be seen, but it's definitely nervy at the moment for those Tottenham players and supporters. Not the fast start they would have wanted, given how big the build-up was to this game. Udogie now for Tottenham, trying to bring them out of play. Ampadu will go in for that tackle there on Benson. He's done really well. There was the Uruguayan midfielder. He's got away from Ethan Ampadu. He's now found it towards Tell down this left side. There's a run being made for by Udogie. Tell goes alone though. He's into the box as well. Still going, and Jacobiol with a crucial intervention in the end. Big tackle from the Slovenian centre back. I mean, Tell somehow just wandered his way through the Leeds defence there. Rather poor from their standards. Rodon and Tanaka just left behind. And in the end, it takes Beale to stop the attack.
I tell you what, there's a lovely little drop of the shoulder here. You know, slalomed in, and then Beale gets across, and he, I think it came off the toe end of Tell. In fact, it must have come off Beale because they're going to take a corner kick, but that maybe, certainly has got the fans off their seats. So, an opportunity here for Spurs.
Yeah, Tell to take this in-swinging corner again. Ampadu was just sort of shoved his man to the floor there. I'm not sure it's going to be given as a penalty by Jared Gill. It's Richarlison who's gone down. No surprise, he's at the heart of a bit of handbags inside the box. It's just a talking to, though, for now, from the Australian referee.
And he's
the Leeds captain.
And he said, if you do that again, then I'm going to give a penalty against you. And so Richarlison will be holding on to his shirt, desperate for him to do just that. It'd be interesting to see these two, how they go about it right now.
It certainly will. Ampadu trying to stay clear of Richarlison. See whether he manages to do that, though. Up goes the arm from Tell. Congested in the 6-yard area. It's a really poor delivery, though. Calvert-Lewin with an easy header away. It's on his far, though, as Udogie. So Tottenham will try and come again. Now with Gallagher, he's going to float it towards the back edge of the box. Tanaka heads it behind him, and that should go out for a throw-in just by the corner flag. But again, set-piece deliveries so far from Tottenham really flattened to deceive.
Yeah, well, not even that. They just rank bad. You know, you can't beat the first man. You're not going to score, are you? You know. I think the long throws have been better than the balls booted in. So anyway, Danso now, he's got prodigious at long throw. But like we said, Leeds are a tall team. Take a bit of getting round.
Here it comes now again from Danso. 27.5 minutes gone. Goalless at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Danso launches it into the area. It's headed away. Might come out towards Gallagher on the edge of the box. He hits it down into the ground, though. It's kind of a deflection on its way through. It's going to be another set piece now for Tottenham Hotspur. And you are right, the long throw-ins, they look so much better. Danso is absolutely brilliant with them. Gallagher does get his volley away. However, it's Aronson who just jumps in front of him. So it's going to be another corner to Tottenham Hotspur to get themselves in front of this massive match down at the bottom of the Premier League table. Much more like it, though, from them in this last sort of few minutes. They can pound the pressure again on Leeds. Once again, it's going to be Tell with the delivery. It's a better one this time towards the back post. So Bentancur across goal away, this time by Beale. Picked up on the edge by Porro, now towards Gallagher. It's looking dangerous. Justin just about leaves it in the end. It's the right decision. Bentancur was flying towards the back post. Last touch has come off of him in the end, but ultimately it's out for a dead ball.
Signs of life, though, for Tottenham for the first time tonight. You know, you're looking at the stadium, incredible stadium, you know, and the fans have looked animated and off their seats and alive. You know, they look like a Lowry painting for the first 25 minutes, didn't they? But yeah, just reasons to be a little bit more cheerful about it.
Yeah, great long ball forward by Beale. Calvert-Lewin heads it on, maybe for James to chase. He's in a battle with Udogie. The defender just about gets in front of him in the end. James is still not going to let it go in the end. It's good play from the Italian. Just keeps himself strong up against Dan James. Ultimately out for a goal kick, so Tottenham can once again reset themselves. They are going to play it on the floor as well. I'm not sure this is the best idea for Tottenham, given what we've already seen in this game. They've looked a little bit shaky playing out from the back, and Leeds are going to go for the press. In the end, it's laid off towards Kinski, who will send it long in search of Kolo Muani. Defensive header from Strout can only find the feet of Richarlison. Heavy touch, but keeps it away from James. His pass isn't great, though, out towards Tell, and Roden once again just using his strength to get in front of him.
Yeah, watching them play it from the back like that, you just think, what are you doing? You know, you're replaying for second ball. The thing was, they're thinking, oh, we could play it from the back. Ball rolled to Kinski. Kinski's first touch is terrible, and then he's got to thump it. You know, oh, you might win the second ball. And then he pinged off Richarlison, didn't it? And gave him no chance. So, yeah, they're not playing particularly well.
Aronson just swarmed there by a few Tottenham players on the halfway line. So again, the home side of one possession. Out towards Mickey van der Ven, of course the captain tonight for Tottenham Hotspur, still in the absence of Christian Romero. Across now towards Danso. Leeds again just choosing their moments to spring the press. Porro has winked up well with Gallagher, and he's now surging into the middle. It's a good tackle though by Yao Tanaka. Can Leeds get themselves on the attack now? Justin finds Aronson over on the far side, gets it lost under his feet though again. Tottenham dispossessing the American. Leeds have won it back though. Tanaka trying to bulldoze his way through possession. Just exchanging hands on multiple occasions, and now Tottenham could be way down the right side. It's Kolo Muani, advantage played after a foul. Kolo Muani up towards the edge of the box, tries to square it across. No one is there though in a white shirt. Dan James just about gets out of Tell, but it's not going to be a free kick. Tell's won the ball back. In comes the cross now. Kolo Muani That could be just into it. Out towards Benson Kerr. Now here's Porro, edge of the box. Another ball will come in. This one's a better one. Richarlison with the first effort on target, I believe, for Spurs. Might be one of their first shots of the game in total. However, it's ultimately straight at Caldalo.
Yeah, so a few bodies in the box there. And his shot comes off, I think, Rodon. He was dead pleased with himself there, getting that scene here. Referee's claiming a handball for Caldalo. Is it outside the box? What's going on?
He's given a corner for taking too long to kick the ball out there, Caldalo. It's something that we've not seen too much in the Premier League this season. Daniel Fiacca is absolutely furious. I'm not sure if he's displeased with his goalkeeper or the referee for giving it. I mean, he's motioning towards the fourth official, so clearly he thinks it's an unjust decision. However, I can't remember seeing that much.
Since when have they started doing this?
I think the start of the season. I remember Dubravka got the same thing in this game at Tottenham Hotspur for Burnley. The corner's come in now. Leeds haven't cleared it. Richarlison with an effort. It's going to come out towards Perro, who wants it towards a goal. Gallagher with another effort. It's deflected off his own man. Out for a goal kick in the end. Leeds just about surviving. However, I think they would have had something to say had that been a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still trying to work out what I've just seen. They nearly got a goal out of it. The inference being that Caldalo's time wasted at this stage at 0-0 when Leeds, you know.
Need a point.
I don't really understand that. And I think if through a season you haven't been enforcing a rule, why now? You know, it's so few and far. Daniel Farker, arms folded, thinking, what on earth? Why are they doing that to us? I understand that. If you're doing it all season long, then great. You know, everybody knows what to expect. But just off the cuff there, so not sure about that. As Leeds mountain attack, but Kinski makes sure he gets there first.
Yeah, well off his line there is the goalkeeper, just to stop Dominic Calvert-Lewin from getting himself through. So Leeds have just about survived that. It's 33 minutes gone at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Still goalless between these two sides. There is another game taking place as well tonight in English football. It's in the Championship, the second leg of the playoff semi-final between Millwall and Hull City. It finished goalless in the game at the MKM Stadium on Friday night. It still goes as well at the Den, in this one. It kicked off at the same time as us, so about 10 minutes left to go until half-time. Beale now coming forward for Leeds. That's a great ball through for Dan James. Can he get on the end of it? He's left it too far in front of him in the end. He just about recovers it, but once again there's two Tottenham players around the Welsh international, so he does concede possession. Poor ball out from Udogie, finds the feet of Ampadu in towards Tanaka now in the centre. Leeds are just going to slow it down for the time being. Ampadu to Stack, now back to Ampadu, and eventually with Tanaka over on the left side. Thought Leeds had a better chance there for an attack, however it has just slowed down. James just about keeps it under play, under a pass from Joe Rodon. Here where's Beale? Forced all the way back to Darlow in the end, but Beale sends it long again in search of Dan James. Udogie heads it and can only find Anton Stack. Can he keep hold of the ball? Though he can't. He might have fouled his man there as well in the form of Palhinha. Again, he's not happy about it. Leeds are happy with quite a few of the decisions going against them at the moment.
Well, I didn't see a foul there. I think Palhinha crumpled, but there was nothing doing. Referees under pressure, but they're all under pressure out. It's Premier League, and you know, I maintain this. I can't remember the last time we went into a game and I thought at least it's a good referee. I don't think there is one. I don't think there is one in the Premier League at the minute, and certainly Jared Gillette's having a funny game right now. But anyway, here come Tottenham.
Yeah, it's Tell again popping up on the left wing. He's looked lively so far for the Lily Whites. Now to Gallagher, now back to Tell, who's continued his run down the left wing. Too many players in the way of him though, so he has to go back towards Rodrigo Bentancur. Now Gallagher again. Bentancur's made the run through, but ultimately it's with Tell. Slow attack at the moment from Tottenham. Gallagher might finally go for the cross. Instead, though, the space is closed down by Dan James. Udogie now back for Gallagher again, trying to chip the ball over the top. James heads it, but Udogie will still bring it under control on the edge of the box. Now here is Tell. Ball's finally going to come in from Tottenham towards that far post. Richarlison up there. It's a clearance. Good touch though, and Tottenham could be in a big chance for them. And somehow it's put over the bar. It's João Palhinha who got the time and space in the box. He evaded the challenge of multiple Leeds players. Effort with his left foot in the end. He somehow skies it into the stands. Yeah,
his first touch was great. Kept on going. Then that adrenaline took that ball over the top of the goal frame, didn't it? He's dead unlucky there. Showing all the fighting spirits that we know that he's got. He's a big unit, isn't he? You know, legs like tree trunks, and there just having to lift it over. Justin meant he was lifting it over the goal frame, but that was a closer run thing. That was their best chance.
Yeah, De Zerbi on his knees after seeing that one. Big chance for Tottenham. Might have been the biggest chance of their game so far. Still, Leeds haven't gone closer than that header with Joe Rodon not too long ago, but Tottenham well on top at the moment. That's a good ball down the right as well. Can Pascal Struijk stay strong? He can't. Colin Moani's beating him to it. He's by the corner flag as well now. Struijk makes up for it though. He puts a challenge in. It's a brilliant one from the Dutch defender. It comes off of Colin Moani last two. Can't quite believe the decision that's been given against him, but Leeds have a goal kick.
Yeah, I can't believe it. He can't believe, because that ball very much scraped off him. Yeah, a little slip by Struijk there, who just hobbled away a little bit from that, just feeling his hip, I think. Dan James doesn't look quite at the races today either, does he? He'd been out a long while. They've a couple of kids on the bench today, Leeds. So yeah, just down in numbers. Jaden Linu and Reece Chaplin, amongst others. You know, relatively young kids, I suppose. You know, Nyonto is on the bench. He could do a job. He's not really a wing back though, is he? That might mean a change of formation. But anyway, yeah, Dan James not quite on it. I think Destiny Udogie is sort of getting the better of him, but we'll see.
Yeah, no surprise maybe to hear that Dan James hasn't started a game for Leeds since the 29th of November. It's quite ironic really. It was that 3-2 loss against Manchester City where it all sort of turned around for Leeds. It's been out of the team since then and been 7th in the table ever since that game. Now Tottenham through again and Biol has to come across to cover it. The final touch this time has come off of a Leeds man though, and Tottenham will get themselves a corner. So the likes of Sean Longstaff, Joe Piroux, Lucas Metcher on the bench for Leeds. A few injuries, likes of Gudmundsson, Gruev, Okafor all out. Still not really anything compared to the injury list that Tottenham Hotspur currently find themselves with. Feels like Dejan Kulusevski hasn't played a game for eternity at this rate. Can't remember the last time I saw him play for Tottenham
I
Hotspur.
think he was their best player last season. And then you've got players who've just come back like Maddison on the bench. You know, their proper front three or four are not playing. If you think about it, Kudus, players like that, you know, Solanke as well. So yeah, they're down to the bare bones.
Porro now with this out swinging corner in towards the centre of the box. It's won by Bentancur as well. Free header there for the Uruguayan midfielder. He rose up highest, however ultimately it's wide of the post.
I think it's one of those where maybe he gets up too soon, does he? He's like hanging, and then the ball comes down onto him, and then it's a bit more difficult. It's not bad effort. Yeah, they need something to work out, don't they? I think they're getting the crowd on their side though. They're showing enough effort and application, but it's not straightforward. This, they don't look great either. You know, in open play, they've been a little bit. They started nervous, didn't they? And it's been a bit scrappy. So we can't hand the game to them just yet at 0-0. There's an awful lot of work to do, but there are glimmers, there are signs of hope, and certainly signs that Spurs are improving.
Yeah, signs of life from Roberto De Zerbi's team. It's like that Joe Rodon header and that Kinski save might have just sort of kicked them into gear a little bit. They've been a much better team since then. Got about 5 minutes left to go until the end of the first half. It's Leeds attacking now though. It's James who's put the ball over the top. Aronson gets a touch there. Can he keep hold of it under pressure from Udogie? Somehow turns away from his man, but Leeds have lost possession. Rodon wins it back. Tanaka on the edge of the box, goes for the shot himself. He slips over on it. You can see that he maybe wanted to poke it through for James Justin to his left. He went with the shot in the end. The Japanese international, he gets it horribly wrong.
Yeah, I think he's caught in two minds here. Ball comes across him, and you know, yeah, he's thinking, well, you know, what do I do? Can I pass it? Ball's rolling that quickly. Eventually, when he decides his shot, he's sliced it massively, hasn't he? And he slips to boot. So yeah, it just didn't work out. When the ball broke from at the edge of the area, I thought it might just lead to something, but yeah, they're certainly not foolproof at the back at Tottenham, and Leeds have had plenty of bodies forward, but here comes Spurs again, an opportunity for them.
Brilliant recovery though from Pascal Struijk there, just to stop it getting through to his man. Justin will go back towards Struijk now as well. You are right though, every time Tottenham do play out from the back, they are conceding some mistakes. Kick out there from Dallo's a poor one, which Pellegrini heads down. It's only towards Justin though. Heavy touch from Ampadu. Leeds should be able to get clear though. They do. Aronson gets round Dan, so he's fouled, and surely this time the Austrian will find himself in the book. It's not his first time fouling Brendan Aronson. He's done it again. He does find himself with the first yellow card of the match.
Yeah, he might have got one for the effort he did before. But I think Aronson knows he pokes it past him, going to get there first and take the hit. For Danso, he's just got to stop him, however that works out. I think Pedro Porro's got him covered anyway, but you know, he just can't let him go on, can he? So he's under pressure now, the Austrian. It's a free kick at just about the halfway line for Leeds.
Certainly is. It's Pascal Struijk who was standing over it for the time being. However, Anton Stack is now having a run over towards it. It's a bit of a conversation with Jared Gillett before Colin Wani kicks the ball back into position. Leeds sending the numbers forward for it. Yao Tanaka is the player furthest back for Leeds alongside Stack, who now floats it up towards the edge of the box. There's a player gone down for Tottenham, and that's rather needless there from Leeds. I think Ampadu was brought down Polinia, so Tottenham will get themselves a free kick. And then it's going to be the man to take it. It might have been Dominic Calvert-Lewin actually who gave the foul away. Tottenham have got the game back underway though. Leeds slightly sleeping here as Udogie makes progress down the left wing. Loads it off now towards Mateus Tel. Once again up against Dan James, out of position of course this evening, playing at right wing back. Polinia now cross towards Danso. Now Van der Ven over towards his left. About 2.5 minutes left to go until the half-time break. Still goals between Tottenham and Leeds as Tel now has a run at Dan James. Bounces off him but still keeps the ball. He's gone down under a challenge there from Stack. Referee plays advantage, realises there isn't any. Tel has stayed down now as well, holding his shin. It's going to be a free kick in a dangerous area for Spurs.
Yeah, I feel that the referee missed it. He did get tagged on. It should be a free kick. That's not the point. I feel he missed what Stack did, and then it's just the reaction he's giving the free kick to. So on one hand, eventually he's got it right, but I think he gets it right by mistake. So he didn't spot it in open play. There was no advantage there, was there? So not really. Anyway, eventually he's given the free kick, but yeah, the poorest performance on the field today is the referee. Wouldn't be giving him any more than 4 out of 10 in this first half. Players have done all right, I think.
Porro standing over this set piece as well. It might be in shooting range for Pedro Porro, but it looks like he's probably going to line up the cross instead. Maybe a bit too far away to think about the shot. Going to take something good to beat Caldalo from that sort of position. But Porro just about ready to take this set piece. Leeds and Tottenham lining players up in the box. Up goes the arm from the Spaniard. He's going to deliver it now as well. It goes towards the back post. It's almost looking like curling in the top corner for a moment. I think he has gone for goal in the end there. Caldalo sees it going wide though. Cleverly lets it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes you watch what's happened at the weekend and you think, what's he trying to do? Now, he didn't have the same angle as Marcus Rashford did for Barcelona, but I think you see something like that and in your mind you're thinking, how did he do that? He just put that in the top corner. It seemed unlikely at the time that he was going to do that, but he did, and I'm going to do that. And sometimes you see that. Often when you get a goal scored from the halfway line, the next week in football all over the country, you see different attempts at it, you know. But I think that's what he's trying to do there.
There's Struijk for Leeds. Up towards Tanaka now, back towards Biol. There's Ampadu in support as well. He was just actually exchanging a few words there with Pedro Porro in the aftermath of that free kick. Darlow will send it long down the right channel again. James hangs up there, but it's Udogie who wins the header. It's lost by Gallagher in the middle. Ampadu takes it down nicely, can't find it through to Aronson. Heavy touch though from Tottenham. And Leeds again have it at the back. It's rather frantic in the middle when it gets like that. So much heavy touches, both sides winning back possession. Leeds could get forward now, and James has puts it through for Brendan Aronson. Can he get it across? Aronson goes inside. Calvert-Lewin under pressure. Calvert-Lewin is dragged down. Is that a penalty for Leeds United? He certainly wants one. Offside flag up instead. 2 minutes added on. Do Leeds have a shout for a penalty?
Not sure. I'm trying to figure out what we've seen. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's on the raggedy edge here. When Aronson breaks, for me, Calvert-Lewin, is he just ahead or is he just behind the boot of Udogie? It's a close run thing. Next thing, was he being fouled by Udogie and behind him? You know, he's strong arming him, gets an arm across him. I don't think he's done enough there for a foul. So I think no. I think the ball bounces off the chest of Calvert-Lewin. He doesn't bring it in, and then he goes to ground. He may be onside, but I don't think he's fouled.
Yeah, I think he is onside. Well, they're checking a possible penalty. They're looking at the offside decision first. I think Udogie's foot might just be in the way of Calvert-Lewin. We'll see though. Joey Gillett looks like he might have waved it away for now. It's a really tight offside decision.
It's the end of the toe of your dog, isn't it? Against the knee of Calvert-Lewin, and it's.
I'm sure they'd check though first if it was a foul in the first place to see if it was a penalty, but they're currently checking the offside.
Well,
we might be here for a few minutes.
No, I tell you what, there'll be a set of fans here saying, take as long as you want, and it's the West Ham fans, and they'll be saying, look, don't get this wrong. I was talking with my friends about the penalty or the non-goal, should we say, for that happened in that big game Arsenal-West Ham, and we had all sorts of viewpoints on it, but we thought that it wasn't dealt with properly. Now the Leeds haven't got that decision, but and it's because the knee, just as we thought, the tip of the knee and his toe are just playing Calvert-Lewin offside, so no case to answer.
Close as you get though, isn't it? That.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but then that that's the first thing, so they don't go and look at what goes on afterwards. I think the thing with West Ham Arsenal yesterday is you say, well, which one of the holding offences happened even before the goalkeeper got, so there's like a timeline that didn't seem to exist yesterday for West Ham. So I just no doubt why they're upset about the decision, and that's why these guys today have got to be absolutely foot perfect with the decisions that they make. It's vital.
Just in now with a throw. We're 30 seconds over the 2 minutes that were added on by the fourth official. It's a bit of time made up after that VAR check. It's almost getting themselves a penalty, but ruled out. Well, not ruled out, it was offside anyway. Van der Ven now sprints forward. Stack's gone in there with the tackle. That will be a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur as well. Not sure if Stack is going to find himself in the book as a result of it. Did just have a bit of a late lunge there at his man. Jogi wants to take it quickly, but Gillett is asking him to go backwards a little bit.
Incidentally, Craig Pawson, VAR referee, another referee I really don't rate at all. Anyway, but offside's easy enough, isn't it? Here come Tottenham.
Yeah, Tell down the left wing. Surely the last chance of that. Tell puts the ball across. It's a pretty terrible delivery in the end, though, from the Frenchman into the hands of Carl Daly. Might think about getting Leeds away on the counter-attack. He needs to be quick again, otherwise he's going to concede a corner, as we saw earlier on in the half. Dalot goes long, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Neither him or Pelini can reach it. So Udogie, Bentancur, nice touch round him. Stack gets there, but it's back towards Porro. We're still playing in stoppage time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham now with a chance as well. Richarlison looking to make way down the left side. Threads it through as well for Udogie, but Biol will beat him to it. Just about stops it going out of play for a corner at the expense of a throw. And there isn't going to be enough time to take that in the end. There were a nervous start to this game, but in the end Tottenham have started to take some bit of control. Joe Rodon went closest for Leeds, forcing a fantastic save from Antoine Kinski. Richarlison's had a decent chance, so is Pelini for Tottenham, but going up in at the break, it's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Leeds United 0.
Half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites and for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pelini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. Half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites and for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pelini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. Half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites and for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box, eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. And João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. It had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely mazy dribble into the box. Eventually under pressure put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by Anton Kinski on the line. That was as good as it got for the Whites, for the Lily Whites. They had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a shot to block from close range, and João Pellini had a lovely, mazy dribble into the box. Eventually, under pressure, put his shot over the top of the goal frame. It's half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Leeds 0. Really nervy start for the home side. Joe Rodon had a good header saved well by. Right, we're back. The second half has recommenced, and it is 0-0. So all to play for as Spurs make an early decent start. There are two players down though. It looks like a head injury to Jakob Biol in a collision with Richarlison, who seems to have hurt his elbow. I wonder what happened there. Anyway, didn't see it. But Biol is hurt, so the game will stop. We'd only just got back going again. But let's take another look. Richarlison goes up for a header, and his arm comes out at a really funny angle there. Right, so tell me what you see. It looks like a swinging elbow into the face there. If I'm mitigating for Richarlison, I'm saying he didn't look at him, but that's a real unnatural angle for his arm to come out.
Yeah, it's a weird one that from Richarlison. I don't think there is any malice in it, but he always has sort of got that in him, hasn't he? The Brazilian striker, his arm just sort of keeps going backwards as he goes up for that header. His initial challenges with Ampadu, and Biol is right there behind him. Not actually sure if he knows that Slovenian is right up there with him. I don't think it'll be checked for a red card or anything like that, as it's sort of the flat elbow in the end. He's not gone to hurt Biol, and he's still down on the deck.
I think if he'd looked at him and then swung an arm out, I think that that's you get the idea then that he's gone for it. Only Richarlison would know, and he's a master of the dark arts. But and Biol won't be impressed to hear that nothing's being given, I think, and he looks puzzled by it. Anyway, he's going to have to go off because he's had some treatment. He doesn't look happy, does he?
He's got a bit of a lump as well on the side of his head there. It's already starting to swell a little bit, so they'll have to watch that one. Can already see it starting to form, can't you? Right, just underneath his hairline. Sure about that one from Charleston. A little bit nasty, but hopefully should be okay to continue, Bill.
Well, if it is nasty, then he should get sent off. If it's not, and if it was unintentional, it's one of those things, isn't it? But we'll never know because he ain't going to tell us, is he? So anyway, it'd be a good autobiography at the end of it. Anyway, 0-0, and it is a throw-in, which I think will be with Leeds. Played stop momentarily there. There've been no changes since the break, so everybody happy enough. I don't think that Dan James will last the full 90. And Aronson tends not to hear Spurs a counter-attack, but the ball played and Ampadu gets across, and I thought then he got fouled after that by Kolo Muani. So did the referee. Ran across his back legs, didn't he? Well read by Ethan Ampadu.
Yeah, really good play again from Ethan Ampadu, just mopping up and getting himself in front of Kolo Muani. I'm surprised if there is a few changes for Leeds. I was surprised not to see Wilfred Gnonto start in this game over Dan James. Gnonto, it feels, has been a more threatening player. He's a better Premier League player than Dan James. Never really impressed by him, James, when you see him in the Premier League. He's one of those players, isn't he, where he looks way too good for the Championship, but not quite at Premier League level. And he's shown that in that first half. He struggled to get into it. I think the likes of Brendan Aronson as well for Leeds hasn't really impressed. Tanaka's not been too great. As I say that though, he's just found Aronson.
Aronson, usual scamper, has to do a lot, I think, today, and maybe a little bit too much. He sends his ball short there, but then a long ball reaches to Tanaka. Good ball, he's inside, and they're at the edge of the area. Little laybacks of Paul, and then Conor Gallagher can get his ball away. Ampadu long stride out, but the ball back with the Tottenham now, who go again to Randall Colomwani. A chance to run at Strauch, puts him into the box, but Stack was chasing back. He puts the ball out for a corner kick. So again, game swinging end to end. Really, it's anybody's game, isn't it? I think the Spurs have had a few more opportunities. They do look like the home team. But from these set pieces, they haven't really troubled Leeds, and they've struggled to beat the first man usually. Yeah,
they have done. They've had 7 corners now in this game. Leeds have just had the single one, and Tottenham still yet to really remember a big chance being created by one of them. They've been poor with the deliveries so far. They put Porro on it this time. It was Tell taking them in the first half, so a switch of that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he couldn't do any worse, could he? Anyway, Pedro Porro, one arm in the air, and that launches one right in the middle, headed away by Biol. The shot comes in, and it's right into the back of the net. It's an absolute beauty from Matthias Tell, is it? Right foot curling shot from the edge of the area. It's a good defensive header away, but he knew what he wanted to do, and there he was, right-footed, an absolute beautiful hit, and that's a big goal for Tottenham.
Yeah, huge goal in an important time to get on the score sheet for the Frenchman. It's a wonderful curling effort. I thought it was a better ball in initially from Pedro Porro as well, better than the ones that Tell was putting in himself in the first half. Leeds deal with it initially. There's no one out towards Tell, though. He's afforded the time and space. He's just able to pick his corner out in the end. It's a wonderful strike into that top right corner. It's a bit similar to the one that Xavi Simons scored against Brighton not long ago. He doesn't have that much time to set it, and that is a really wonderful goal from the former Bayern Munich man. Leeds not get out to him quick enough from their perspective, but the way that he's able just to curl it into the corner, Darlow might be a bit disappointed. I think he gets a slight touch on it, but he can't stop it from going in, and Tottenham have the lead. Yeah,
full credit to Matthias Tell. Ball comes out to him. His first touch is delicious. His second is a great strike. I feel that you don't leave players that mark to the edge of the box like that, because that happens. You know, they've got so many bodies back. I don't think Leeds have got anybody up the field at all. Why then leave somebody at the edge of the box like that? Didn't make any sense. And here they go again. Richarlison tried to make a way through. He got goal side, then he went to ground. I don't feel that was a foul. And then Joe Rodon able to make some ground, and Ampadu, the ball comes away. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin flies at the ball. He's not going to get there. And then a percentage ball headed back toward the keeper from Pedro Porro, and they're saying calm down. Now, obviously this is a massive goal for Tottenham Hotspur, and they pull themselves well clear of West Ham. But this goal now, and I'm thinking, what do they do? Do they try and get a second one now? Do they go in their shells? They must realise that if they sit back too deep now, they're going to get pressed. Have they scored too soon?
I think they've got to go for the second. It really would suit them. I do not think that they can do it in this stadium, holding on to a lead like that. If Leeds are able to put them under some consistent pressure, you can just see the heads going, can't you, and them folding under it. Tottenham Hotspur, they've got to strike now. While Leeds are looking a bit vulnerable, they've not really come out well at all in this second half. Leeds, they could barely keep hold of the ball in the lead up to that corner that led to the goal. Really poor start from them. Might be able to change now as Tanaka finds Aronson, but a great sliding tackle from Palhinha. And Leeds going to throw in instead.
Yep. So De Zerbi then punch in the air and wanting his team to show some aggression and desire. And for the fans, well, they're delighted, aren't they? I don't know how much that chap's had to drink, but he looks happy. Strout's gone down. He was feeling his hip earlier. Now what's he feeling? I don't know. Anyway, they not exactly down to their bare bones, Leeds, but the bench looks a bit thin. We look at this strike again. It's just a smashing hit right into the side net, and it just perfect, really. And yeah, a large chunk of the 60,000 crowd erupt, and they'll be hoping that, against hope, that they can find a way. I mean, you look at the stadium. I'm sure in the Championship there'd be loads of teams who'd want to go to a stadium like that, and a load of sets of fans. But it's all geared at Premier League, you know. With all respect to West Ham, they're a brilliant stadium as well. But yeah, they're big setups. But it's between West Ham and Tottenham, and at the moment, and you look at the table, it would be Spurs. 4 points to the good. Still 2 games left to play, and of course West Ham have got Leeds to play. They've got them at home. Many slip and all that. We're going to see Seb Bourne now come on for Pascal Struijk. Not seen too much of him. Not really been convinced by him particularly.
No, I mean, he's the 4th choice centre-back at Leeds for a reason, isn't he? You can't get in ahead of Rodon, Beale and Struijk. He's probably 5th choice, actually. I think they'd rather play James Justin as a right-sided centre-back. So we've just seen Archie Gray warming up on the touchline. First time we mentioned him tonight. 52 appearances, of course, for Leeds a few seasons ago. Might be getting a run out against his former side. But yeah, Bourne out looks stripped and ready to come on. I think Pascal Struijk was a bit of a doubt for this game anyway, wasn't he, coming into it? There was a bit of a question mark over his fitness. He's not been able to last the 55 minutes. He's going to go off injured in the end. Looks a little bit sombre as he makes his way over towards Daniel Farke. And Sebastian Bourne out on for the rest of the game.
Yep, so he comes on. He likes to play on the right, doesn't he? So it's a big shift, really. I guess Rodon will play through the middle, and Beale then strip out to the left. There's a collision there with Calvert-Lewin. But referee not giving anything there. Porras scrapes the ball away. Palhinha still feeling it, the contact with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He'll pick himself up eventually, the Portuguese. Like I said, legs like tree trunks, that fella. Overdoing it there. Calvert-Lewin jumping into the back of him slightly. Maybe it's the way he landed on him that hurt him. But Yeah, just Calvert-Lewin enjoying his bit of rough and tumble. I wouldn't want to take João Pelini on or make enemies with him, but anyway, long throw comes in for Leeds. The ball headed away to the edge of the area. They can't work it out who's going to strike the ball. James gets in the way of Tanaka, and then a ball through. And I tell you what, Jakobiel may be onside there as he heading towards that ball. The ball just bounces away, and Kinski eventually gets it, but touch and goal. That or get second goal, you feel, because they just can't do it. Anyway, attack be the best form of defence for them. As I say that, they're prodding the ball around the back like they're the kings of football at the minute. As you see the ball with Danso, and eventually out to his right to Pelini. Long ball, poor ball, headed back where it came, and then Stack on the ball, flicked forward by Udogi. Nobody wants it. Pedro Porro then to Randall Colomwani, who gets round the ball now. The cutback's good, and the Richarlison shot, not quite the equal of it. I felt he was offside in the first instance there, Randall Colomwani, and I think they would have taken the ball back to that, but I might have been wrong. Touch and go, wasn't it?
I think he's on. I think it's Beale in the centre who's playing on. That's the first involvement of the game, isn't it, for Sebastian Bourne. Now gets completely done by the Frenchman. Nice ball across the face of goal as well, and Chelsea just can't quite take it the way he wants to. It's a really good worked move from Tottenham Hotspur in the end. De Zerbi again can always see from his reaction how much he gets into the game. He's bouncing up and down on the touchline. Richarlison not far away from Tottenham's second, but all right, they've got to get a second, haven't they? We've just seen Leeds with that attack there. Beale wasn't a million miles away. Leeds just need that chance to fall for them at the back level.
Yeah, that's it for Tottenham. Need to crack on here. Can't rest on their laurels. Not good enough to do that. Not this season. Not with the players out injured. In my mind, no way. They're a mid-table side. You know, they've had terrible problems with injuries. But here they go round the back. Udogi's ball comes in. It's chance for a strike though from the edge of the area. Pelini wants to win his challenge, and he does that, but he can't then get a strike away. Can't do two things at once. Dancer plays the ball back to his keeper. Kinski takes a touch, and this time it's a slightly better touch. Benton Kerr just tidies things up. So yeah, they're settling it down. Daniel Farke he's not the man to make quick changes, is he? Tends to be very sensitive. But I think they've lost their way, Leeds, a little bit. I wonder. I'm pretty sure that Dan James is not going to last it. So you know, why not give Gnonto a little bit more time? Anyway, as soon as I say that, of course, the ball will be with Dan James, who hairs away, puts a decent-looking ball into the box. Aronson can't quite pick it up, and then a little dribble. Ball going to break back for Leeds. It's dinked round the corner again, and then a good foot in from Conor Gallagher, who might be playing number 10 today, but he's putting a shift in. He's going box to box really, and then Richarlison on the ball. Referee doesn't see any problem there. Richarlison fought for it and then won it, and then he's going to try and get on the end of another ball. Rodon just eases him out of the way. That was a bit weak from Richarlison in the end. I don't know what he was thinking about there. But anyway, ball now with Tanaka. So then Leeds, and now Spurs are just like statues. I don't know what's going on with them. Leeds on the ball. There's absolutely no pressure on the ball. And for Tottenham, you can't rest on your laurels. Bourne is on the left-hand side of the centre-back, so we saw him beaten 2 years. I'm surprised that Leeds have done that. Maybe they didn't want to change the whole system. They could have done other things as well, I guess, and put Justin at right back. But anyway, Tanaka on the ball, not done much today. Rodon back to Tanaka. He had that little spell, didn't he, in the international break, where a couple of games for Japan he looked great, and that sort of gave him a boost and kind of got him back in the team. But again, it's not been a great performance. But then out the Leeds team, there's not many who've done that well today. Aronson keeps the ball in, then he slips, then he hurdles the challenge, and then he drops the shoulder, beats another one. He's done all right. Inter do the pick-off today. Now, well, a shot comes in from Dan James. It's gone well wide. left foot strike, the edge of the area. He worked it well, a nice little give and goal, but not a great shot.
Yeah, I mean, would have been quite surprised if Dan James managed to find the net with his weaker foot in that position. I mean, there's not really any other options on the too far away from the goal to really pose a threat to Kinski there in the end. First sort of chance of the half, really, isn't it, for Leeds? Yeah, finally going to make some changes though. Lucas Metra and Willing Ontoat getting ready to enter the fray. So we'll see who that's in place of as James Justin looks to make way down the left.
Yeah, interesting as the... Well, now Calvert-Lewin gets the byline for Leeds. He's waiting for support. It's really slow to come, and then he tries to wriggle away from Dance. So Ampadu comes and stops Spurs in their tracks. Calvert-Lewin then just dabbing the ball back to Borno. He's all right foot out that left-hand side. It's a terrible ball from him. Puts Biol under pressure from Richarlison. Spirited effort from the Brazilian there. Ampadu back on the ball. He has been Leeds' best player by a mile today, Ethan Ampadu. But just having to dig in to stop more damage happening rather than get Leeds on the front foot. But 1-0 down. I think the Spurs fans will be sort of not feeling hugely confident, but thinking, well, we're all right. You know, I don't feel any desperation about it at the minute. Maybe that's a dangerous state to be in when you're just at 1-0. But Leeds are not offering enough. As Tell puts a foot in there, stops Rodon going forward. So we're 63 minutes in. It is at 1-0, and it's going to be Gnonto and Mecha coming on, and so Aronson, I think, one of those going off. That'll be for Mecha, and I guess Gnonto for Dan James, and it is. He was never going to last out, was he? I mean, the one thing we always talk about Dan James's pace, and he's probably one of the quickest players at Leeds. But in the Premier League, that pace is negated because loads of players have got there's a lot of really quick players. In the Championship, not everybody's as quick as him, and he can shine.
Yeah.
But it doesn't translate that well. Just being, I know he's got a few more. You know, he can hit the back of the net as well. But anyway, Gnonto's had a disappointing season. But I think by his standards, he would have wanted to play more in the top flight. But then, relatively, he's still quite a young man at 22. You forget really, because he's been around forever. You know, 3 years ago he was an Italian international getting a regular game for Mancini, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he still gets into the Italy team at some point with the state of Italian football as it stands. But no, I can see him leaving in the summer. Really, it's never quite got that run in the team this season, which you'll think he deserves. He wants to play first team football. Stuck with a poor delivery there from the free kick. It's cleared by Tottenham. Only farther as Tanaka.
Yeah, I think Gnonto's one of the players that Leeds should try and keep hold of. If he's happy enough to come and play off the bench, maybe at some point his form will tip round the corner into something better, you know. But if he falls into team play and he's patient anyway, if he can be, then maybe that's the kind of players that you want. Always very difficult for a team like Leeds to get players that are better than the ones that they've got, I think. As Tanaka's on the ball now, and then he's giving it away. It's a poor ball from him. A little step over by Pedro Porro, who's just getting forward a little bit more now. He was really belt and braces to start with. You could see how nervous Spurs were when they started the game. But the game has unfolded a little bit now, and it's just allowed them to work it out and make their shape a little bit. Conor Gallagher and Joe Polini are both of them are getting back to support their back two, which is allowing Udogie and Pedro Porro to get forward. But anyway, there's a foul there on Mecha. That's his welcome to the game. Not what he wanted, but anyway, it's still Spurs at 1, Leeds 0. Hull have scored. Yeah, that's a big game in South London. And Bellumi is the scorer. And well, the referee's writing this one up. So yellow card there for somebody you'd probably have slated in for a yellow card anyway. He's 7th this season. And yeah, Polini now's got to be a bit more careful. If there's ever a man going to get sent off in this fixture, it'd be him, wouldn't it? More so than anybody on the field now. Certainly now that Romero's injured. But he'll be another candidate as Gnonto picks the ball up, but it wasn't a good ball. Biol better ball this time. Gnonto looking for the ball around the corner. It's just overcooked that, and out comes Kinski. Chips that ball away, taken off the chest of Beale. Smart stuff. Borna then forced to go back. Conor Gallagher working really hard for his team today. The ball then given away by Jakob Beale, not playing out from the back particularly well. As Spurs have it with the Perlinia in the middle of the park. And now just dabbing it, nice little triangle in the middle. Richarlison picks up good control from him, but then Conor Gallagher's given the ball away, and then Anton Stack has given it away, and the game's super scrappy, and that suits Spurs down to the ground. But then the ball to the feet of Mecha, and his goal side of his would-be marker tries to run through a brick wall. That ain't going to happen. But then Tanaka's done well to win the ball back, looking for Mecha, and then Justin Ampadu. Leeds tidy, but not really going anywhere. Rolled on then to Gnonto, who gives him it back. Nice and tidy from Leeds, but like I say, maybe now Gnonto driving forward into a little bit of a gap. He's going to do something as they think about getting the cross in. They don't in the end. Stack plays it back at his inside to Rodon. For the moment then Leeds beginning to just bare their teeth a little bit. Gnonto bringing something else. He's tucking inside a little bit more. James was sort of hugging the outside a little bit. Gnonto giving something else to think about, playing an inside right role really. As Leeds now look for him, but Ampadu it is, finds Gnonto out the right. Shapes to put the early cross in, blocked away at source by Bentancur. And at that point we reached the 3/4 mark of the game. It is Spurs 1, Leeds 0, and it's going to be Josh now to take us through to full time.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. Leeds now getting the chance with the long throw, and as you were just saying, some decent interplay from Leeds, but not really carrying much of a threat. Tottenham look more than capable of coping at this current moment in time. Can that change now as Leeds have this chance though? It's going to be Ampadu to launch it right in front of those travelling Leeds fans. Sold out away end as usual from them. Ampadu launches it, not the greatest delivery. Richarlison heads it out. It might be a hit by Stack. He hits it into the ground and scuffs it. Van der Ven with a block. Well, that could be a shout. Ampadu comes flying in. Leeds want a penalty for a high foot. Ampadu staying down. We'll have to see about that one. Tottenham are on the counter attack. Meanwhile, with Ampadu still down on the deck with what looked like head of it. Tottenham, still play on. Tanaka with a sliding tackle. Kornawani stays on his feet and still keeps hold of the ball. Not too clear if Ethan Ampadu is back up off the deck yet. Jared Gillett has finally realised after about 30 seconds that it is a head injury. We're going to see this one now as well. It was up in the air. Ampadu comes flying onto it. I mean, does he not just kick Ampadu as he's flying through?
Let's take a look. He's got eyes on the ball. It's dangerous play. I'm not sure he kicks him in the head, but I think he kicks him.
That's a penalty, surely.
I
think he sort of catches Ampadu in the face. I mean, they're checking it for a VAR. I mean, how high his foot is regardless.
I think it's got to be. It's dangerous play, and it's a penalty. Do you remember Sadio Mane for Liverpool? He inadvertently kicked somebody in the face, didn't he? Because he was actually given a red card. Now, I wouldn't give a red card personally for this, but I think this contact. I think that you've got to be careful if you're trying to overhead kick in your own box. The Leeds player gets there first. It's brave from Ampadu because he probably knows he's going to take one there. VR's looking. It's Craig Pawson. This is vital. And again, and I go back to it, the West Ham fans will be watching this saying, you've got to get this right. And if you don't get this right, this could have been the difference between the West Ham staying up, going down. Same for Tottenham. They've got to get it right. It's a little flick, but it's dangerous play. If you've got your boot at shoulder high and you're going to catch somebody, you're not aware of them, it is dangerous. So, for Jared Gillett, I think that it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, he's been told to go over towards the VAR monitor as well. We know what that usually means. We think it is going to be a penalty. I mean, it is dangerous, and you just can't put your foot high up in the air like that. You're asking for trouble. I mean, probably doesn't even know that Ampadu is rushing on like that. It's probably an attempt to play the ball, but it's still dangerous from the Frenchman, the man who scored the opening goal in this game for Tottenham Hotspur. Looks like he might have just given away a penalty in this one. Ethan Ampadu was stepped down as well for around 30 seconds afterwards.
The other thing about that is that he's looking at it, right? And he can see it. And then he can see the player go down who's holding his head. Now, I don't know quite how much there was on Ampadu's head here. If it's a glancing blow, whatever. But he goes down holding his head, and he lets play go on for about 2 minutes afterwards. He didn't want to give that. And what is it with referees now where it's like, oh, just let VAR mop it up? It's not good enough, that. And it's like he just wants to blank it off. You've got to make difficult decisions. He's not a good referee. He didn't have a good first half. But now he's seen what he's seen. He's going to have to come up with the decision. And it's an obvious one. It's got to be a penalty.
I can't believe he's had that many looks at it, to be honest, and how long that's taken. That looks like the most stonewall penalty you'll see all season. He's making the announcement to the crowd. We, of course, can't hear it. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. But Jared Gillett points to the spot. It's going to be a penalty for Leeds United. Matthias Tell catching the head of Ethan Ampadu inside the box, and Leeds have got a chance to level things up. They've taken their time with it, but Leeds have got a penalty. And imagine this is going to be Dominic Calvert-Lewin to take it as well. He's usually the set piece taker. Lucas Mecha holding on to the ball for the time being. You'd imagine what's going to be Calvert-Lewin stepping up. He's usually Leeds' main man from the spot. He missed one spot kick in the Premier League so far this season. That was against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. He also missed a penalty right early on at the start of the season against Sheffield Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. He's had a long time to think about this though. Richarlison, as he always is, trying a bit of play acting, trying to put himself about, but it is going to be Calvert-Lewin eventually to take this one. He's number 9, looking for his 14th goal of the season. Jared Gillett's making him wait an awful long time as well.
Well, they're winding him up here. You don't want to be in the bubble for too long, do you? And then the referee stood right in his way. Anyway, Calvert-Lewin now.
Calvert-Lewin ready to take this penalty. 17 minutes left to go. It's 1-0 Tottenham. Can Leeds level from the spot though? Calvert-Lewin steps up and he puts it past Antonin Kinski. It's a wonderful penalty from Calvert-Lewin, who shushes the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has 14 goals for the season. He celebrates in front of that away end and leads a level.
Yeah, wow. Well, I feel really sorry for Matthias Tell. Massively sorry. He was having a good game. He scored a great goal. But, you know, you've got to have that. He's an attacker, you know, back defending. You've got to have that peripheral vision. You've got to be aware of what's around you. And Ethan Ampadu has been Leeds' best player. He goes in there. He realises that he's going to do something daft and he gets involved. The penalty kick is as good as anything. You know, I just wondered, there was a bit of messing about, wasn't there? And he had a long time to wait, thinking about it. He went for power, and he was right. And quite how long it took to come to what was a basic and easy decision. Yeah, I don't think he's a good referee, to be honest with you. Mind you, I think the same thing about the VAR guy, Craig Pawson. In the end, they got it right. But now Spurs, who've been very comfortable, haven't they, to be honest with you, since they got their goal, and now have got a game on their hands.
Yeah, they certainly do, and Leeds might be in again now. It's Nonto down the right, he's played in by Anton Stack. Warning signs for Tottenham. Nonto just slows it down. Here's Roden flying forward on the overlap, keeps it in by the byline. Not the greatest ball, might fall for Calvert-Lewin, he flicks it behind him. Nemecha with an acrobatic effort, and it's deflected into the hands of Kinski in the end. All of a sudden, this game's starting to turn around, and it's Leeds who look the most likely.
Well, who thought we'd be seeing Joe Rodon as a flying right wing back today? But anyway, in the end, he scraped a decent ball in from the byline. And where was the defence? You know, now all of a sudden, you know, the Tottenham fans are just a bit nonplussed by this, and they realise it could all go wrong. It'd been going wrong all season. They hadn't killed Leeds off. They'd not scored that second goal, and it really had come back to bite them. Leeds had looked toothless, but they've got a bench. They've made a couple of changes, and again, it was just one of those freak incidents, I suppose. But at one point is not what they want. You know, all three, particularly at home. Otherwise, it's going to be a real nail-biting end to the season.
Yeah, it looks like it could be taken towards the final day. The gap now just at 2 points again between Tottenham and West Ham. Matthias Tell is quick, but he's not quick enough to keep that one in. And credit to Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. What a penalty that was. Not many keepers, I don't think, on the planet stop that one. Kinski dives the right way, but it's so much power, so far in the corner as well. He can't do anything. And well taken penalty again from Leeds' number 9. We're just seeing shots of the Tottenham crowd at the moment. They're starting to have that worried look on their faces again. We've seen this sort of thing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium already this season, and you can just feel the tension easing in.
Absolutely, tension, massive tension. But well, at least they've got the referee on their side. He again, there's a foul that he just let go of there. You know, for Tottenham and their fans, you just understand it. It's been a season where they've seen it all, and mostly miserable, terrible stuff, particularly at home. They have no trust in their team, do they? You know, they don't believe in them. The man with his Ange shirt there, scrubbed it out, put another name in, scrubbed it out. Anyway, yeah, that seems like a lifetime ago, but wow, I thought they were playing better then. Hull have scored a second goal in South London. That is massive. You know, we talked about that, didn't we? Joe Gallagher has scored. So yeah, he's worth a bob or two, won't he? When eventually he's sold by Leeds. But this game absolutely in the lap of the gods now, and it's not even funny anymore for Tottenham, is it? You know, their Premier League survival. This was a massive opportunity, and you take the lead, and you've got to see it out.
Still time for them to get themselves back in the lead, though. Richarlison beats Beale to an header there, up in the air, born and out in a battle with Kolo Muani. The Frenchman's won it, though. Gallagher has to be careful. Justin's approaching from behind. Gallagher gets his ball in, though. It's way too much on it. No one's even attacking it at the far post, and it will go out of play for a goal kick. John's right, though. It's only 10 minutes now that there's left in the game at the Den. Hull City on their way to Wembley by the looks of things. Probably written off by most going into these playoffs. They sneaked in again on the last day ahead of Wrexham and Derby County. Looks like they're going to be facing the winner of Southampton against Middlesbrough tomorrow night, which of course will be starting from goalless. After that was a 0-0 draw at the Riverside in the first leg. Lucas Bergvall is getting ready to come on for Tottenham Hotspur. Leeds have gone long with this goal kick. Mecha putting Van der Ven under some pressure. It's good from the Dutchman, though. He just about keeps the German away from him. Poor clearance, so here's Nonto now moving forward for Leeds. Across towards James Justin on the edge of the box. Wants to try and power a shot through. Porro stands in the way of him. And it's good play in the end. Leeds have won it back, though, through Ampadu. Out towards Joe Rodon. Now here's James. Nonto's going to... Sorry, Stack even. Nonto continues his run. He can't beat Benson Court to it, though. Tottenham should be able to get out of this as well. And it's rather needless there from Joe Rodon. He'll pick up Leeds' first booking of the match. He trips Mateus Tell on the attack.
Yeah, got what he deserved there, Joe Rodon. Just dragging his man down from behind. Well, you look at the fixtures, you know, I think this was the one for Spurs personally. They've got Chelsea away next. You know, Tuesday 19th of May. Chelsea are a funny team, aren't they? But that, you know, you don't know what to expect with that. They've got good players, and if they can sort it out, you know, then they will. I think you get the final game of the season. Everton are going for European stuff, aren't they? And they're motivated. David Moyes will not let those boys, you know, play beach football. I don't think they've got it in them. They're just not easy games, are they? West Ham are away at Newcastle. Can't work them out. But and I think they're playing on vapours, to be honest with you. And then of course West Ham have got Leeds, the final game of the season. And as Spurs are finding out here, you know, Leeds are a bit of a benchmark team this season, you know.
Yeah, in comes this free kick now from start that Gallagher gives away. It's into the box. Rodon going up for it. Dancer with the clearance out towards James Justin. We're into the final 10 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's 1-1 between these two sides. Leeds starting to look better, and that's a good touch from Nonto. He's got down Polino, and Leeds are steaming forward. Nonto slips it through. Nemecha almost through. What a tackle that is from Mickey van der Ven. Unbelievable from the Dutchman. It looked like Nemecha might just get that touch ahead of him. Good play from Nonto. Mecha might have been offside anyway. Van der Ven wasn't to know. I think the linesman has raised his flag on the far side, but brilliant piece of defending.
Yeah, good play by Nonto, and then Van der Ven. It's a complete block out. Brilliant stuff from him, and well, flag had gone up anyway, so you say. So that will allow us anyway to see Lucas Bergvall coming on. Excellent player, I think. Incredible engine on him, and coming on is up for Bentancur. who getting a bit long in the tooth, isn't he? I like Bentancur. I think he's a good player. You know, he's put himself about. There's been no shortage of hard work for Spurs, but a real shortage of quality in their team today. You know, players like James Maddison just coming back. He's on the bench today, but not a day really for him. I guess just coming back. Well, naturally, you'd have him in your team, wouldn't you, if he was fit and raring to go? Because they've lacked that creative spark. You know, Gallagher's playing 10, but he's not really. He's gone box to box today, hasn't he? And it's all hands to the pumps for Spurs.
Bergvall now in possession. You've got to think as well with James Maddison. He's not played a game in over a year, and against the physical Leeds team, I'm not sure that would have been the best decision to play him. As Pellegrini now drives forward for Tottenham, he finds it towards Porro. Good tackle though from James Justin. Porro's left one in on him there as well. It's going to be a free kick to Leeds. James Justin has stayed down as a result of it, and I think Porro is going to find himself in the book as a result of that one. It did look a nasty one from Porro. James had already made James Justin, had already made the tackle. He's in some pain here as well as the former Leicester man. We're going to see the replay of it. And
right, it's a good challenge from James. Pedro Porro. Then, what does he do afterwards? Well, he sort of falls down on him. Maybe it just looked like a tangle to me. I was thinking if there was something overly naughty, then VR would be taking a look. He goes over the top of the ball, treads on his toe. I think one of those things. Yeah,
I think a yellow card is fair for that one for Pedro Porro. I mean, he's trying to get out of the way there of James Justin, who catches him on the groin. And ultimately, Porro picks up his 9th yellow card of the season. It's the 3rd of the game for Tottenham Hotspur. He joins Pellegrini and Danso, who are already in the book as well. Maddison might be getting prepped to come on here as well, John. Just as you were saying, it might not be a game for him. He's getting ready to come on. Leeds have got a free kick though in their own defensive third. Caldalo, the goalkeeper.
He's one of my favourite players, James Maddison. He's got magic about him. You know, he used to be a little bit lazy, and I think the Leicester fans got on his back at a certain point, and he just turned a corner on that and just started working his socks off. And he added that to all the quality that he'd got, and I just thought, fair play to you, you know. And apparently he's a good lad as well, so there's all that going for him. But and then he found himself in a team who played 4-3-3 and couldn't incorporate him in their lineup, which is you know, sod's law, I suppose. But anyway, here come Leeds with Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, he'll go for the shot from range, and he's got that one completely wrong there. He's already got on the score sheet this game. Apologises to his teammates. He almost falls over on his effort in the end there. Calvert-Lewin scuffs it wide of the mark. Tottenham are in a rush to get this game back underway. Perhaps no surprise as well. 6 minutes left to go at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. As it stands, Tottenham are missing out on a massive chance to really pull clear of West Ham in the relegation battle. They've not even had a touch in the Leeds box since the hour mark at this point. We're about 83 minutes of the way through now. And it just shows you how much this game has turned. Tanaka losing out in the challenge there to Gallagher. Justin will now poke it down the line. Metch is not going to run onto that one. It's already out of play for a Tottenham throw-in. Archie Gray in a rush to give the ball back to Pedro Porro. Tottenham fans starting to get on their feet. I think they can see James Maddison stripped and ready to come on. His first game in over a year. I mean, it would be quite the script, wasn't it, if James Maddison was to go on and score at this point. Alongside him coming on his former Leeds man, actually, Jed Spence. Coming off for Maddison, though, he's going to be the goal scorer, Matthias Tell. He's had a decent game, has looked lively, scored a brilliant goal, of course, gave the penalty away, though, which means the scores are at 1-1. And on comes James Maddison for the final 5 minutes plus whatever we've got added on at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Still waiting to see who's on in place of Jed Spence, or off in place of Jed Spence. It is going to be Destiny Udoka, so that's a rather like-for-like swap there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Maddison, you know, if they get free kicks, something like that, you know, he's got magic, and they haven't had that about them today. They've been workmanlike and all that, and they grabbed their goal, just a virtuoso effort, but they've not created an awful lot, have they? You know, they got that from winning a second ball at a corner. You know, not from any great play, and that's definitely been lacking from them today.
There's the first touch as well from Maddison. He tries to hook it round the corner for someone to run onto, but Bergvall is on a different wavelength, so it's out for a throw-in for Leeds. They're not in any rush to take it. I could say it's a good point for them, although they're already safe in the Premier League. This moves them up to 44 points. Fantastic return. Their first season back in the Premier League after being relegated, of course, 2023. Metch now pressing Porro.
Well, the stats are not particularly good, are they, for the teams coming up? You know, staying in the division has been quite a feat for the teams coming out of the Championship. You know, relatively speaking, as well, like in comparison to, say, Sunderland, they'd not actually spent that much money. They'd not been able to, and so they've done pretty well. And then the other thing as well is that Daniel Farke, third time lucky, isn't it? You know, he can't keep a team in the division. But it just shows it's all about money, really, and Leeds have spent enough wisely enough that they've had a reasonable season. It's whether they can kick on into the second season that's going to be, you know, another stiff ask, really.
Spence with a throw in there on that far side. It was bobbling around a little bit between the two teams before Tottenham have got hold of it now. About 3.5 minutes left to go of normal time. Still 1-1 between Tottenham and Leeds. Palini now out towards the right for Kolo Muani. Been quieter in the second half since the goal. Good skill from him, but he has lost out on the ball. Here's Metch. Poor pass back towards Tanaka, who wasn't really expecting it. He wasn't on his feet there, the Japanese international. Porro hasn't been able to keep that one in place, so that's going to be a throw into Leeds, about halfway inside their own half. De Zerbi, I'm surprised, has not picked up a booking in this game. He usually does, but he's just gone over towards the linesman and sarcastically applauded them. I thought under the new rules they weren't allowed to do that in the Premier League, but De Zerbi has gotten away with it. He's got another warning from the fourth official. Justin, long throwing down the line. Calvert-Lewin heads it behind him. Now here's Stack, loses out though to Danso. Now Van der Ven can bring it forward. Plenty of space for the Dutchman to drive into. Has he done too much though? Ampadu right at the side of him. That's going to be a free kick, I believe, to Tottenham Hotspur. No, it's not. It's a free kick to Leeds United. Van der Ven goes down under a challenge. He thinks he's getting a free kick, so he picks it up and he concedes a free kick for a handball. He's testing his innocence there too, Jared Gillett. I mean, there's no foul in it from Ampadu. I'm not surprised that the referee's given that. No,
he got upsides, didn't he, Ampadu? They're having a good old battle there. Van der Ven running it out, but he ran it too far, and it was a handball. You know, he's upset about that because he should have used the ball, but I don't think there's a target for him either. So it's an opportunity for Leeds just to launch it into the mix. Darlow's going to take it, but there's still a big team, still some tall bodies in there, and it's an opportunity for them to try and get something going.
We'll see how willing they are to press the players forward. Darlow has sent it long. It's going to be headed on by Danso down the other way. Beats Beale to it. Tanaka puts it forward again. Now here's Ampadu and Beale eventually. Ball still up in the air as Danso smashes it downfield. Justin should be able to get there ahead of Coleman. He does. He brings it towards the sideline, almost falls over. It's brilliant from James Justin. He's passing to the centre, isn't though. He's giving it straight to Palini. Now here's Coleman. Justin still out of position. Great sliding tackle though by Al Tanaka. Can Leeds get away on the counter-attack now if they pick the right pass? Not sure what Calvert-Lewin is doing. He seems like he just tries to let that go underneath him for someone to run onto, but Nemetcha is nowhere near it. He's back at the back now with Van der Ven. We're into the final minute of normal time. Get the feeling that 1 point isn't enough here for Tottenham Hotspur. It will drag them too clear of West Ham, so they will have the advantage still. But this was a real opportunity for them to pull clear against an already safe Leeds. Ampadu out bringing it down under pressure. His former teammate Jed Spence. Here's Willie Nonto just over the halfway line, chooses to go back in the end towards Beale. Now Tanaka, ball at the wrong end of the field really for Tottenham Hotspur as Beale slides it through to Calvert-Lewin, chests it down, but it's a poor touch and he's lost out to James Maddison. Over towards Udogi now. Tottenham need to start sending the players forward, start throwing the kitchen sink at Leeds. They've got something to do here. Bergvall now for Maddison. Over the halfway line, passes it inside towards Palhinha. 10 seconds left to go until we find out how much additional time we're going to get. Porro slides it through. Coleman, he's onside as well. Leeds a bit out of position. Ball now slides in. It's a good tackle from the Belgian. Tottenham finally get a touch in the opposition box. 13 minutes added on.
That's a lot, isn't it? Anyway, plenty enough time for Tottenham to go and get the winner. There, I thought it's a terrible first touch from Kolo Muani, which allowed Borna then to step in and take it off him. It's a corner kick. It's an opportunity. Plenty of time for either of the two teams to go and get a winner. Leeds looking as likely to score those Spurs at the minute, but anyway, we'll see.
Porro with this out swinging corner now. It's got to be a good delivery. It looks like a good one as well. Danso heads it up in the air. It's out towards Bergvall, who's picked it up onside. Maddison on the edge of the box now. Is he going to line one up? It's across towards the back post. It's beaten away by Darlow. He probably could have caught that one. He wasn't under any sort of real pressure. His punch reaches Porro. Now with Gallagher. He's going to float it towards the left side. It's a good ball as well to pick out Maddison. No one out to him though in a Leeds shirt. Maddison cuts inside of Joe Roden. Now in the centre towards Gallagher. Here's Spence now. Making progress down the left wing. He's got a lot of freedom. He's in towards the box now as well as Jed Spence. Still going. Tries to cut it across. Roden stood in the way, and it's now Tottenham are finally stepping on to Leeds. Maybe I don't think it's quite too little too late. There is still 12 minutes left of additional time, but thinking, where's this been since the first Tottenham goal?
I tell you what, that big board of 13 minutes really gave the home fans a bit of a buzz, didn't it? It's like plenty of time. Come on, you know, let's go again, and they've done just that.
Maddison with the in-swinging corner up towards the edge of the box. Palhinha heads it on. Could be a chance. It's bobbling around there. A few appeals for an handball from the Tottenham fans. Nothing given though. Borna now heads it up in the air. So does Stack as well. Leeds are penned in for the time being. Porro, one touch with Palhinha. Now back to Porro. Gallagher's free in the centre if he can be found, but Porro goes down the outside of Tanaka. Knocks it back now for Palhinha. Gallagher is still crying out for it. He finally receives it as well. Stack out to him. He gets a block in, but it's still going to find the box. Richarlison gets a touch. Poor headed away from Beale. Leeds want a free kick. Bergvall hits it on the volley. He doesn't get the right contact. Leeds were wanting a free kick anyway, which they're not going to get. They are going to get a goal kick instead, and perhaps another chance to reset.
Yeah, it's really nervy times at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You know, De Zerbi didn't know what to do themselves. He sat down there, gets back up, whistles to his players. He can't really get message out. But Leeds have been leaky at the back end of games, haven't they, all season? You know, they thought they'd got an easy ride at the London Stadium in the FA Cup, didn't they? And they put 11 minutes on the board there when they were 2-0 up, and it ended up going extra time. Tanaka's come off. I thought he'd had a poor first half and then got into the game. But Sean Longstaff will come on, who more a marathon runner, but I think at this stage of the game he's a very good substitute for Leeds to bring on.
You know, seeing what impact he can make in late stages. Of course, scored that last-minute equaliser against Bournemouth at the Vitality not too long ago. You are right though, Leeds do lead goals at the back end of games. No side has conceded more 90-plus minute goals than them this season, 8. We'll see if there's going to be another one in this one as the ball goes down the line now for Nonso to chase. Spence beats him to it. It's not going to go out for a goal kick like he wants. Gallagher with a heavy touch gets his clearance, so it's a great ball actually in the middle to Porro, and Leeds have extended themselves going forward. Ampadu across to cover him. Justin now slides in. Porro won't get there ahead of Ampadu this time. It's up in the air. Nemetcha pass inside towards Longstaff, lets it run across him. He's just about kept hold of it. Beale now back for Bourne out. Across to Darlow, has to take his clearance first time. Never scoops it high up into the air. Justin heads on for Pedro Porro though. And away come Tottenham again. Metra with a strong challenge, and looks like a fair one as well. It is going to be a throw in though for Tottenham. Porro with the fake. He's eventually going to take this one when the options move for him. He finds Palhinha 4 minutes of the way through. The 13 added on by the fourth official. Still 1-1 between Tottenham and Leeds. Maddison now takes a push there from Ampadu. Maybe a bit of a late one and needless from the Leeds United captain. Won't be surprised if he finds himself.
Should be a yellow card for that. There was no need for that. That's he's trying to give Maddison a welcome to the game there, and it was a bit late and unnecessary really. But and De Zerbi gets the card that he was going to get all the way through. But I understand why he gets it, because he's really frustrated by that. The referee's been poor. Just it's like he refereeing with his eyes shut. You know. Anyway, Ampadu should have got his yellow card there, but instead De Zerbi gets one.
Yeah, well overdue still, you feel, for Roberto De Zerbi.
Yeah, I'm not arguing his
case. He was going to get one in the first 5 minutes of the game, to be honest, but it's taken till the 95th. Free kick comes in. It's a poor delivery, and Stack can now maybe bring this one away for Leeds on the counter-attack. He's still going as well. He's the German midfielder. As Nemetcha up in front of him, tries to thread it through, but it's a good interception. Comes flying into Stack and misses Colin Wine. It's really stretched at the moment though, and Tottenham are now attacking again. Maddison finding Richarlison. Heavy touch takes him behind. Here's Maddison again now inside the box. Can he make the room for the shot? Maddison up towards the byline. Ampadu gets the tackle. Leeds want a goal kick. They're not going to get it. It's going to be a Tottenham corner. 95.5 minutes gone in North London. Maybe a few more chances still in the offing for Tottenham Hotspur. 13 minutes were added on by the officials. This is Tottenham's 10th corner of the game. Their goal to come in the second phase of a corner. Of course, Mateus Till finding the top corner from outside the box. Leeds have still just had one corner up until this point. In it comes from Madison now. It's a good one. It's Metcher though, heads it clear at the near post. Out for a throw-in for Tottenham. Not quite in line with the 18-yard box. Madison still looking a little bit rusty at the moment, which is to be expected with the absence that he's had. Danso, perhaps unsurprisingly, is going to take this long throw-in as well. It's been ordered back by Jared Gillett to further forward for the referee's liking. Where the throw-in was awarded, he's still being pushed back. The Tottenham fans in the stands absolutely furious. Meanwhile, it's finished at the Den. Millwall 0, Hull 2. Hull are going to Wembley. Might be in for their third promotion to the Premier League through the playoffs. Of course, against Sheffield Wednesday back in 2016. Porro now for Tottenham. Finds Colawani, back to Porro as well. He finds the return pass to the Frenchman onto his left foot, tries to curl it in. It's deflected. Biol heads it behind. Nonto doesn't get it clear. It's poor from the Italian. Doesn't get any connection on it. Madison now with a nice back heel. He's found Gallagher as well into the box now. Leeds have got to be careful. Gallagher's still going. Maybe gets himself into a bad position. Nonto's gone in front of him. Tottenham fans furious. Leeds have got a free kick inside their own penalty area. Maybe a chance now just to wind down the clock.
Yeah, a bit daring do there, wasn't there? But in the end, Conor Gallagher just John nearly had a nibble at him, didn't he, when he was running into the box, and just managed to stop himself. And it just wouldn't open up. It's spirit defending actually from Leeds. They've got plenty of bodies back. Always seems to be another man to beat. Already we've seen little bits and pieces of invention, aren't we, from Madison that they've just not shown before. He's just got that little bit extra. It's a shame that he wasn't fit to start. Anyway, Metro on the ball. Here come Leeds. Can they get something going?
There's never touch initially from Metro, but he still kept going. He's found Longstaff superbly as well. Is Justin now trying to put it through the legs. Sean Longstaff could be in. Longstaff, it's off the crossbar. Huge chance for Leeds. They're still coming out. Nonto on the right side tries to put a ball in. It's deflected behind by Spence. It's going to be a corner. Sean Longstaff can't believe it. Leeds United can't believe it. West Ham can't believe it. Somehow it's not 2-1 Leeds.
It was a great shot.
Did
he get a touch on it? Let's take another look at Kinski. Yes, what a save. It's twice. Two brilliant saves. You know what? It's been a weird old game. I was thinking maybe Ethan Ampadu man of the match, but I'm thinking Kinski. Two absolute world-class saves he's made today.
Unbelievable. If Tottenham are to stay in the Premier League, then I think they've got him to thank for it. The saves he's pulled off in this game, absolutely mesmerising. Leeds do have that corner though still. It's in front of those travelling supporters. Longstaff is going to take it. It's whipped towards the back post. Bornau's up there. It's all the way through though towards Roden. Stack takes it off of him. It's in towards the corner flag. Left-footed ball into the box. There's a good one. Strout. So Beale heads it. There's a chance. Oh, it's put over the bar. Still in the box though. And somehow Leeds haven't scored. Chaos at the back for Tottenham Hotspur. It was Longstaff who was arriving. It's now Nonto's turn to attack. Tottenham just starting to run a little bit. No, Nonto surely fouled though as well. It's going to be a free kick again for Leeds, and Tottenham are on the ropes.
Wow. Well, they're hanging on for grim life, aren't they? The West Ham fans at home, they'll be jumping up and down as much as the Leeds fans. They've had gilt-edged opportunities. The ball to the far post, and when the shot comes in, it's ended up further away from the goal than when it started, didn't it? But for Longstaff again on the half volley, difficult to get that right, and he still can't believe that his first effort didn't go in. What a save from Kinski! But Longstaff, he proved he could score an important late goal for Leeds, and they've got another opportunity now. Well, this will really deflate the home crowd. If this goes in at this stage, it'll be hard to come back. But there's still almost 4 minutes left to play.
Yeah, there still is. Free kick comes in from Longstaff towards the back post. Roden's up there. It's Danso who beats him, and he wins the free kick as well. Roden just going into the back of his man there. Needless from Leeds, who've finally started to pile the pressure on at the end of this game. We've passed 100 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Danso looks like he's in a bit of trouble as well, just holding the back of his head. It's a clash between him and Joe Roden. It's going to be a free kick. Danso up to his feet and isn't going to need any sort of treatment. Just a bit of a sore one for him, which he should be able to run off. We're going to see that replay again, and this gets better every time you look at it from Kinski. If you're a West Ham fan at the moment, you are probably beside yourself.
Well, the thing is, the fine margins there. Kinski got a hand up. If it goes through him and into the back of the net, he's too weak. He got a hand up, couldn't save it, but instead the ball just comes off the woodwork, and he's a genius. You know, it's such fine margins, isn't it? But 2 absolute world-class saves from him today, and for that I'd be making him man of the match. But maybe another hero is going to emerge right now, and here come Tottenham, an opportunity for them now.
Bergvall crossing towards the far post. Justin should get that one clear, he does as well. Longstaff with a more substantial clearance, but it's probably going to go out for a throw-in unless the Metcha can get there. He just about can't. This is going to go in, you imagine, straight away from Danso. Colin Mohan is actually going to take it quickly. It's towards Maddison, who's just a little bit behind him. 2 minutes left to go. We're a minute and a half even at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's still 1-1. High drama though in added time. Leeds a bit the crossbar. A fantastic save from Kinski. Here's Colin Mohan down the right side, getting in front of Nemecha. It's a good sliding tackle though from the German striker. Just gets there ahead of him. It's going to be out for another throw-in for Tottenham Hotspur. We're hanging on just a couple of moments ago, but they're looking to take all 3 points for themselves. Now a reminder, they will go 4 points clear of West Ham if they take the 3 points here. Could be that West Ham are relegated next weekend before the final day when they actually play Leeds at the London Stadium. It's work an awful long time for this throw, but Danso is going to launch it towards the near post. It's touched down by Calvert-Lewin. Polina hits it. Tottenham fans want a handball there. I'm not sure if that came off the arm there of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It didn't look the most convincing. None of the Tottenham players were appealing for it. We'll see the replay now. It doesn't. It comes off his thigh. They've taken it quickly anyway. Maddison now, has he gone down under a challenge from Lucas Metcha? Tottenham is screaming out for a penalty. It's not going to be given. It's given as a corner. This is surely going to go to a VAR check. I think Metcha might have just caught his man there. We'll have to see though.
Well, Maddison cuts around the challenge, but is there any contact? Strikes at the ball. I'm not sure. Not sure. I think that Maddison is trying to fall over the leg that's there. Does Nemecha get any touch on the ball? I think he does. Is he in the right position to do it? I think he is. I couldn't give it. I think if the referee's not giving it, I don't think VAR should be intervening to have him take a look. He just gets a touch on the ball. I think he's upsides him, and it's a corner kick. Yeah. So I think that was the right decision.
They're going to be furious, but I think it is the right decision as well. Metcha does just get the slightest touch on it. They've got a corner still, Tottenham. We are past the 13 minutes added on now. This is surely the last chance of the game. Can Tottenham take all 2 points? The roof will be blown off the stadium if this one goes in. Maddison delivers it towards the centre. It's headed away though by Beale, only as far as Porro on the edge of the box. Out towards Gallagher. Final cross comes in for Tottenham. There's Bergvall, heads it into an area. Roden with a monster clearance away in the end. Only as far though as Gallagher. Longstaff out to meet in the passes defensive. It's got to go forward from Maddison. It does towards Porro. Gallagher continuing his run now. What can they do with this final chance? It's Bergvall. Turns away from Nonto. Now towards Maddison. A minute over the 13 played. It's got to be go in. Danso heads it on. Could be a chance for a Charleston who heads it down. It's a block from Joe Roden. He's been in the way of absolutely everything so far for Leeds in this game. Tottenham are going to be given a chance for this corner. I'm not sure where the additional minute and a half is coming from. It wasn't that long of a VAR check, but they're going to get this final chance. Tottenham Hotspur, nearly 15 minutes of additional time are up. It's going to go straight in from Porro despite Maddison showing short for it. And it comes now as well. Porro delivers it towards the near post. It's headed on towards the back. Has that come off a Leeds man last? It has. It's going to be another corner. I mean, Jared Gillett is still finding the time at the moment, even though we've played nearly 2 minutes over what he added on at the end of the 90 minutes. Tottenham fans can barely look at the moment. This is surely the final chance, although I keep repeating myself at the moment. Outswinger from James Maddison towards the far post. It's Longstaff this time, he gets underneath it. Ampadu with the clearance out to Gallagher. Still we play on in North London. Maddison up against Longstaff. He goes down to the challenge. Jared Gillett is not going to give it this time. He's going to give the final whistle. Tottenham players are furious. They've not just been given a free kick, but they miss out on the chance to take the 3 points after West Ham lost. Leeds gain another point in the Premier League. They're having a fantastic season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's penalty cancelling out that opener from Matthias Tell. It's finished in North London. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Leeds United 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any